So I'm going to be going through the 2024 Higher Applications paper. So let's have a look at the first few pages. You would start by filling in all your personal details. You get 2 hours 5 minutes is the standard time available and 65 marks, and you are allowed to use a calculator throughout. You have the use of a computer and you have electronic files that you will refer to for certain questions. And please remember at the end of the exam to print out everything, and there's a checklist here you can use to check you've printed everything that you are supposed to. So now let's look at question 1. First question is one to do with interest rates and loan repayments. So we start by changing the annual effective rate into a monthly effective rate. So we will do this by getting the interest multiplier for the 29.9% increase by adding 100 and getting 129.9%, then dividing by 100, which means the decimal point moves over 2 places. So you would multiply by 1.299 to get an increase of that percentage. So now we're only doing that for 1 month, not for 1 year. So we put that to the power of 1/12. Now one thing to notice here is that the multiplier is for years and the exponent or the index is for years, 1/12 of a year, and those time units must match up. So you do this on a calculator and you will get 1.0220, and so on. Then we change this back into a percentage by reversing the steps. Now we multiply by 100 and we get 102.203%. Finally take away 100 and the final answer 2.20%. Now you have the option in this question of using more decimal places if you want to, and that would make the following questions more accurate, although in this case rounding 2.20 is fine. Now we'll go through question 1 part B. So Bailey is making monthly repayments, which means we need to use the monthly interest rate, which we worked out in part A as 2.0%. You could use more decimal places if you wanted to. So the interest is calculated on the amount of the loan that is outstanding. So we calculate 2.2% of 4,000, which would give you £88. That's the interest content. That's what you're charged to have the loan. Capital content is what is left over from the repayment after the interest. So that will be 250 minus 88, which gives us £162. Finally, the new balance at the end of 1 month will be the previous balance, the 4,000 minus the capital content, 162. So that's £383,838 is the new balance. We do all this again for the second month. We calculate 2.2% of the previous balance, £3,838, which now gives us £84.44. I've rounded that amount to the nearest penny. Then again, capital content is the repayment minus the interest content, and that's going to give us £334 and no, I made a mistake there, £165.56. And finally, the new balance at the end of 2 months will be the £3,838 minus £165.56. I'm showing you here that the repayment is equal to the interest content plus the capital content. So that's one thing you could check. For example, the 88 and 162 add up to £250. The final balance I'm just going to get is going to be, I take away the capital content, and it's £3,672.44. Now your answers for this question may be slightly different if you use more decimal places for the interest rate. Now I've used 3 significant figures, 2.20%, but here's the result from the marking scheme. If you use the full unrounded answer in your calculator, then the amounts of pence differ slightly. But you can see from the marking scheme there that you got full marks either way.